Alright, this is West Coast Avengers 69, and gone on, laugh it up because it is the sex number, isn't it? 69. They are eating each other out. Hilarious. This issue is just as good as a 69 because it combines two of my favourite things, admin and U.S.Agent. It's also really contradicting an argument I made the other day about Hawkeye being the perfect replacement for Captain America because in this he has an immature vendetta with U.S.Agent who he doesn't like. Let's take a moment to laugh at Hawkeye's try-hard battle armour. This came from Avengers Spotlight, and I kinda like that they decided to incorporate it here, even if it is just for one issue. He never uses it again. This is the only time outside of Avengers Spotlight it is mentioned. The idea was he got shot, so he made armour to wear, and then because it was in Avengers Spotlight, it wasn't carried across to the actual Avengers books. This issue jumps back and forth between the present, which we are seeing now, and the past. Here, Hawkeye and U.S.Agent are fighting, and this comes after 20 issues of them hating each other, or rather Hawkeye hating U.S.Agent, and U.S.Agent getting told off for ever reacting to Hawkeye baiting him. I'm obviously an U.S.Agent fan, but reading the way Hawkeye treats him, I find it hard to believe anyone sides with Hawkeye. Hawkeye had a point when the guy was forced onto the team, but then after that he just becomes like a snide little weasel trying to have one over on U.S.Agent every chance he gets. Just before this, there is a Ultron story where U.S.Agent suggests that some mysterious crop dusting that he has been told about, it might be spreading Ultron spores, and Hawkeye mocks him in front of all the other team for saying that. Then a few pages later, Hawkeye goes to check it out because he thinks there is something to it, but he didn't want anyone to see U.S.Agent as useful. The stuff from the past we are seeing are the West Coast Avengers voting in a new lineup, and down here we have a cameo from the main Avengers, which features two mistakes. First, Kazar is coloured as No Man, and secondly, Charlotte Witch is shown there when she's actually a member of the West Coast team, and she is in this scene watching this video with her on. I think they meant to draw Big Barda, and one of the big things is that this basically means U.S.Agent probably won't get to stay on the team because nobody will likely vote for him. I do like the bits where we hear how many votes each character got to be on the team because it lets me imagine or speculate who voted for them. U.S.Agent supposedly got one vote, and Hawkeye makes fun of him straight away, implying that he voted for himself. But I would like to think that the Avengers would have been wise enough to not allow people to vote for themselves, and instead one of the other West Coast Avengers truly does believe in U.S.Agent. In a few pages, you'll see what a farce this democracy is. And even here, it is a joke, because Iron Man randomly votes for C-3PO, who isn't there, and who hasn't been an Avenger, and he had been in, like, one Avenger story. U.S.Agent storms off when he realises he has officially gotten the shaft. And because this voting process was actually incredibly unprofessional, 2 members who had been voted in, Ant Gordon and Wasps, they were voted in with overwhelming numbers. Well, they announced that they are actually leaving the team. Absolutely stupid. This is a mockery. They should have let that be known before voting commenced. Maybe then more people would have voted for Mockingbird. And actually, it's the panel up there where they say that they're retiring. But the fight stuff is really good, and a satisfying payoff to the year or so of animosity between these 2 characters. It is also exactly how a fight between the 2 should go down. U.S.Agent has the upper hand down to his strength, but Hawkeye is just too ruddy stubborn to quit. This is a weird issue though, because it's written as if this is the denouement and the climax to U.S.Agent's time with the Avengers, and that it's all been building to this moment where he gets dumped, and then, because he doesn't care anymore, finally beats the shit out of Hawkeye. But even though the issue ends with the Avengers breaking up the fight and forcing U.S.Agent to leave forever, he comes back like 2 issues later, and nearly everything that came to a head in this issue is forgotten about. U.S.Agent, he is still a bit honourable in the fight. He is always offering Hawkeye chances to surrender and give up. And before, when Hawkeye fell off a cliff's edge, U.S.Agent ran down to make sure that he was okay. But Hawkeye just refuses to quit. He won't surrender or admit defeat. So U.S.Agent just ends the fight. And again, make sure that Hawkeye isn't left to drown, which is when the other Avengers show up to break up the fight. They revoke U.S.Agent's membership and say that he's not welcome there anymore, and Hawkeye just gets a little slap on the wrist for being childish. Very unfair and uneven punishments, but we get it. The Avengers didn't like U.S.Agent, even though he has saved their lives a few times by this point. And Charlotte Witch ponders U.S.Agent becoming a supervillain, which never happens. The next story is kinda embarrassing, and it has bad guys called the Pacific Overlords. I like this issue. I think it's really well done, and I can live with what I think is the characters being staggeringly unfair to U.S.Agent just because they didn't like him. I'm not in denial that U.S.Agent probably doesn't deserve to be on the team, or that he isn't a man who murdered a bunch of people. But I feel like the Avengers are being super disingenuous to act as if his time with them has been unworkable. Good issue. I do recommend it. And I recommend the comic the other day that I forgot to say I recommend. Cannot remember if it was the Hawkeye one or the Sinestro one. I recommend whichever one it was. I rate this 7 thumbs up.